Hello everyone, it's Davide here and welcome back to Learning Finance. So today, finally, a very positive day on Alibaba stock, now around plus 5.30%, a backup around 234, it's been around 236, now it's pushing back a little bit, but positive day overall. So to hand this issue with the probe, I want to do this last of the three videos basically, where the first two I have explained the situation, I've said what I was going to do. That one is going to be a more numerical one because as I explained you, the only problem right now is to understand how much the growth rate of Alibaba will be impacted by the probe. Okay, it's all about that. All the game is in this question. And then in the previous video I talked to you about fairness, that I want to see fairness. So I'm gonna explain what I mean by that and why I remain positive. So positive day, the last video I did was Alibaba, it will be back. So it looks quite accurate with what we are seeing today. Anyway, we are going to see all of that just in a few seconds. The only thing I ask you guys is please leave me an early like, it's very important and I thank you for it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new updates. Let's begin. Alright guys, so just quickly let's take a look at the graph. Now this is exactly as I left it on the previous video. We see that the stock bounced back a lot from the 210 area. It is now 235. And I told you how this area around the 200 was a very important, and I expected a pool of liquidity, especially from institutional, around that area. This is exactly what has happened because the stock from the bottom went up right now around 11% in 2 trading days, okay, almost 12%, and it is a company of around $600 billion in market cap, so a lot of money have been put in the market, and this is positive, okay. I told you that I wanted to see that, I wanted to see a strong reaction, otherwise I would have started to question my thesis on Alibaba, okay, because if I saw the stock going down without any reactions whatsoever, well, probably I would have started to think that I was wrong about it, okay? Anyway, this thing is optimistic and it makes me feel and continue to be positive. Now, in my last 2 videos that I did on about this issue of the probe, I've shown basically we have analyzed different articles, one mainly Bloomberg, so it is the most important reference from financial news from the US side, okay, the European and US side. And then we have seen the South China Morning Post, which I know it is owned by Alibaba, and I also said that I did it on purpose, okay, so to try to analyze the 2 different sides, as I think that the reality, as always, it is in between, because when we analyze articles from basically more the US, we see just that basically the Chinese government wants to destroy Alibaba, while on the other side, obviously, you see just don't worry, it's gonna be fine. As always, I don't think that we should be too much negative, and I don't think neither that everything is gonna be a paradise, okay? So that's why I'm doing this video today, because we're gonna try to understand the impact that the probe is gonna have on the revenue growth of Alibaba. It is all about this. Now, for 2021, 2022, analysts' expectations are 44.46% and 33.50% in growth. Historically, we see that since 2011, it has been all the times above 2 digits and basically constantly above 25%. The average of all of that was basically 55% growth rate in revenues from 2011. And now, obviously, the firm is continuing to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Revenues are predicting to go above 100 billion just in this coming year. Remember that Alibaba fiscal year ends at the end of March, so that's why here is 2021. But then the question is, how much will these growth rates be impacted impacted? Because we have seen that Alibaba did this kind of stuff by taking a lot of market shares from competitors, as always happens with these big companies where they are not regulated enough. They just do something to actually destroy the competition, and that's what they do. That's how they take these huge revenues. And as we have seen with Facebook or Apple or all the stuff, you have seen that over the last 10 years they have basically taken all the market, okay, all together. So that's what Alibaba was doing as well. More than 50% of the market of China, e-commerce and all the stuff. That's why they got this incredible parabolic revenue growth. Now, as we have seen, these regulations are gonna try to put a stop on that thing. How much of a stop is gonna be? Because that's the real issue here. Well, exactly no one knows. Now, obviously, when a company is that big, we cannot continue to expect a 54% growth on average year over year. Okay, now analysts were expecting before the probe something like a 30%, okay, which is continued to be incredible for a big company like that. But let's not forget that the Chinese e-commerce sector will continue to grow at around 8% year over year, and is going to be bigger than the one of the US by 2025. And obviously Alibaba continues to take market shares. Now, with this new probe, the government is saying that we are going to stop this kind of monopoly behavior. Like, for example, practice like the choose one platform for the merchants, and then they were not able to sell on other platforms, so to basically stop the competition. And so if those practices are going to be banned, many analysts are trying to estimate that how much of the revenue growth of Alibaba was actually related to these kind of monopolistic practices. Well, let's try to find out over there by doing some estimation, and let's try to see if the fair price of Alibaba is going to get down significantly, or whether the stock today is still cheap, which it is. Okay, I anticipated you that. Anyway, let's try to find out. So 2021, this is from analysts' expectations, free cash flow of around 32 billion. Now, we have said that before the probe, everyone was expecting around 30% growth until 2025, basically. So what I have done over there is I have a discounted free cash flow until 2028, and then a terminal value, obviously. And let's try to put here some numbers. So the growth rate, it was 30%. Let's say that the probe has a negative impact, and then this go to 20%. And then later on, we can actually do this. 12%. The perpetual growth at the end, 2.90%, so very low. And this one will be, in my opinion, a very negative scenario for Alibaba. It would be that the probe would have a huge impact on the growth rate. Remember, it was on average about 55% and then estimated to continue at a 30%, so 20%. 10% less. It is a huge impact. And then from 2025 to 28, just 12%, considering that China is going to be the first economy in the world. I find that very pessimistic. Let's try to understand the worst case scenario over there. That would be the fair price today, $271, almost $272 per share for Alibaba, which at the moment is trading at $235. So basically we understand how the stock is still cheap. Now let's try to find out if this scenario actually is going to be a little bit better. Let's try to put a 22% instead of 20, and then here a 14%. The perpetual growth rate, we can put it to 3%, and the fair price today would be above 300 easily, considering the impact of the probe. So when I say fairness, what I mean is that okay, it is a probe, okay, it is gonna stop a sort of monopolistic practices done by Alibaba in the past, but it will not have a strong impact on the future growth rates because Alibaba will be free actually to continue to do business according to regulations. Okay, if we don't see fairness, what does that mean? Basically, the probe will have a very strong impact to actually go even beyond the normal monopolistic rules. Okay, so to actually target precisely Alibaba and then crunch their business. But I don't think that that is going to happen. It's all about fairness. If we see that the government is going to target Alibaba in an unfair way, then it is going to be a disaster, because let's say that Alibaba, after the practices and regulations, is going to only be able to grow at around 14%, and then here 7%. Obviously, here it is the problem. Okay, the fair price will go down, and then my thesis will be obviously wrong. Let's try to understand what is going to happen if the probe doesn't have much of an impact. So we could see, instead of 30%, we could see, let's say, 26%, and then a 16% until 2028. Then the perpetual growth, I will put 3.20%, and that's what it is. Fair price today, 362.45. So obviously here they will have an impact, obviously, because from 30% expected to around 26%, even if the probe at the end is going to have an impact around 5%, 4% on the future growth rate. Let's try with 25 and 15, and then here we go, same stuff. 345 basically fair price. So it is all about that number. How much of an impact will the probe have on the future growth rate of Alibaba? So I don't know exactly, no one knows exactly what is going to happen. If the treatment remains fair, I expect this to be the bottom. So let me know down in the comment below, what do you think? Will the probe have a huge impact on the future growth rates of Alibaba or not? And how much of a decline in percentages do you expect from a previous 30-31% expected growth rate before the probe? How much do you expect? 20%, 25%, 18%? Just let me know down in the comment below. So I hope you find this video interesting, guys. Leave me a like. As always, guys, have a wonderful day.